Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be changing the radiator on our Mitsubishi L200. Let's crack on. Okay, so we're going to start off just by removing the skid plate and draining the water out. So obviously to get to the radiator plug you need to remove the skid plates. Now these skid plates have been on and off so many times and they're so broken. These bolts are different sizes probably to yours, but I've got 13 mils on this one and 17 mils on the front one. That's just ours, but I know they're not standard bolts because they've been off so many times. Okay, now with the skid plate off you can see this is the bottom of the radiator right here, and here is our bung. So the more you undo that, it starts to come out this exit tube, and of course if you undo that all the way then it's going to shoot that way and out the tube. So we'll undo this and get a nice steady flow out of this bung right here. And there it begins. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually take photographs of everything that I'm going to do. Now Dad's going to play with the cat because that's what he's best at doing, and I'm going to take a photo if I could use this phone. And the first thing we're going to take off are the 4 10 bolts. We've got one here, 10 mil, here 10 mil, 10 mil at the back and 10 mil at the back, and the only other one is this sensor up here. So we'll start off just by getting them all off. Make sure you put your bolts in a container, easier if you label them. Think of that, eh? And then just the sensor as well, which is the same. So they're all 10 mils. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put that back in so I don't lose it. So just take the sensor, I'll just put that down a bit, out the way, and then put the screw back in. So these pipes, this one here is a size 10, so that makes life easy. So it's this little one here I'm going to be taking off, and that'll just detach from the side there, which isn't a size 10. So this one should just pull off like that, and this one should just pull off like that. And now, hopefully, we can get that out. Oh, hang on, we've missed something. Okay, and there's just one connector, can you get that off? For the fan on that intercooler, to pinch it loose.
There we have done that.
That's just a pull-off jobby now. I've got it, right. And off it comes in one piece like that, and now we've got much more access. So our next step is to disconnect this small pipe and also these 2 brackets that hold the radiator in.
We might as well get him off as well.
Oh, what, the grill? Taking it off?
Well, it's covered in bird shit.
So Dad's decided we're taking the grill out. You don't have to do this, but you know, once he's got a bee in his bonnet, we'll let him do what he wants. Now, if you are wondering how to get the grill out, you need a really thin thing like this, and you can pull this slightly forwards after you've popped the poppers. There's one. Just push that one down. And then there's 2 more long ones. This one's already out, this one's already out, and this one isn't, so it's down there. And we just got to push him and give that a little pull. No, hang on. There we go.
That's it.
There we go. And grill is out. And I'm going to disconnect this little pipe here, which actually you can do by hand. This is for the reservoir. Give that a little pull. And of course we've got the pipe on the top and there's a pipe down the left. So we'll start by getting this one off. I'll take that off, get that out of the way. There's the first bracket. Oh, hey. Okay, so with this pipe you can just leave it hanging, but as we have a new one, we're going to take this one off completely.
Nice.
Right. Whoa. Now it's time to remove the lower radiator hose. We decided to go to the end where it meets the engine, as the end where it meets the radiator itself is in a really tight position. So we just used a small socket to undo the clamp. That plug is off there, and now the radiator we can just lift out. There we go.
Wait.
Yep.
I've got it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Go. You're free. Nice. Rad's out. So the only thing we're going to need, hang on, let me show that. The only thing we're going to need is to actually reuse this housing, I think is the word, for the new rad. So go and take that over and lay that out on the floor.
Housing or cowling?
Cowling, housing, I'm not entirely sure. Right, so moving over to the radiator, I'll bring over this piece. You can see here, we've got, my dad did this repair because on the housing, it has these pieces which it attaches to the radiator, and this one had snapped off. So my dad sort of cut out a piece of hard plastic that was as similar as possible, and he's basically glued it on and cut it to shape, and it's worked really well. So we've just painted it black so it matches, and this sits on, you can see the fan, you got this sort of thicker bit here that sits facing up the top, you know the top because it's got the cap, and that goes on like so, and then there's just a couple of small bolts that go in each corner. Lubricate my two little stubs here. So
let me lubricate your small stub.
Yep, thank you, Father. Because these rubber bushings go on the bottom here. Oh, blimey. Right then, so back over at the car, you can see down there's two big holes, and they sit down with the lip facing upwards, exactly like that. Just drop them down in there. Nice, there's one, and the second one.
Uncle Dixie was looking forward to seeing this episode.
Dixie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dixie Normas.
Yeah.
God, the old ones are all the best, aren't they?
They are, but they are. Right, so now it's in, we need the top clamps.
Which you've refurbished your good self.
I have. Now this one appears to be this side, so we'll slot that over and get that roughly in position, like that. There's one. Okay, so our next job is this, basically this pipe takes all the excess into the reservoir here, so what we've got to do is just bring that up. There's a little clip on the back which just holds the pipe in place. We basically have to put it back in its slot, little clip here, and then that just runs across the top there and slides on nicely, and then you've got this little thing that holds it on, little clamp that you just wiggle over with your fingers, and that holds that on there nicely. So that's done, and then this top pipe which goes from this tube here to this tube here. Okay, so a tiny little tip is put a little bit of rubber grease just around each bit, not too much because you don't obviously want the pipe flying off, but it's just in future if you ever have to take the pipes off, it makes life so much easier. Okay, so I've got the clamp and I'm just going to slide this pipe on like so. It's nice and new so it's good and tight, and then basically just remove the clamp like that. And make sure you let go of the clamp in a decent space, so if in future you've got to take it off, it's easy to access, which mine, that angle there is best. So there we go. The last one is we've got the pipe to go to the thermostat housing down there. Right, and that is not coming off of there. We're going on with the intercooler, so we got that goes over here, and what we do is sit that on there and get these pipes in. We got this one on the left and this one here. So we'll pop them on, 1, 2, nice and easy. And then we'll just align this like so. Get our bolts, pop them through. Second one there. And then on the side of the intercooler there's just the plug for the fan, which just goes back together. Now the intercooler's plugged in, I'm just going to tighten up these bolts on the clamps. And that's it. Now what we're going to do is fill up the radiator with fluid. Well, we're going to do it with distilled water to begin with because we're going to flush through the system. And then after that we will let it cool down, empty out the water and put in coolant. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since we installed the radiator. Now we flushed it through and we actually used a radiator cleaner, Liquid Moly I think was the brand. Now if you're interested in how that worked, please stay subscribed because we've got a future video coming up for that. But the radiator, as you can see, looks absolutely spotless. It looks wicked actually, I've never seen it this clean under here. Soon it'll be splattered in mud, but I'm just appreciating how clean it looks at the moment. But the job was really easy and actually it was really enjoyable. So hopefully you learned a little something from this, and I'll catch you in the next video.